Welcome to NEXTGames Ambuscade series, August 2024, against Morbols. Now we haven't seen this run for several years, so let's remind ourselves of what needs to happen in order to take this month's on. Now first, key item acquisition. This month you need 1 plantoid kill for your first run of the day, and 3 kills for multiple runs in that same day. Now the place I normally go for these is Home Point Warp to Boyahata Tree, where you can find nearby Mandragora and Gabu for your objective. Now if you have other easy locations to get the key item this month, don't hesitate to post it down there in the comments. Now, on to the run itself, which this month is against 3 Morbols, regardless of the difficulty that you enter on. Now the first 2 are the Bozzetto Julika, who is a bard, and the Bozzetto Vivian, who is a dancer. Now I suggest you take these 2 out first, as they are normally much easier to take out and quicker to take out for melee players, as they take normal damage from physical attacks. Now all 3 of the Morbol enemies will use standard attacks such as Vampiric Root and Breath attacks. Now these attacks normally won't be of much risk to players until there is only a single Morbol remaining. Then the Bad Breath ability will start to do large amounts of damage, normally hitting upwards of 2500 damage. Now this means that when you start to take on the final enemy of the Bozzetto Jody, you will be at risk of getting hit for that much damage if you are in front of Jody. So I recommend either facing her away from your trust if you yourself are tanking, and making sure to keep Megawari up if you have access to it, or if you have a trust tanking, make sure to spin around Jody as you first engage her so that your tank doesn't have any other trust around him in the path of the breath attack. Now you want to be sure to manage hate on all 3 of these enemies as best you can, or otherwise they can easily start tearing through your back line. Now you can do this by either keeping hate on all of them yourself, or by using a good trust tank. Now if you're using a trust tank, I find that ArcEV works well for surviving those bad breath abilities that you're going to see at the end of the run, but isn't as good at holding hate on all 3 mobs at the start of the run. Meanwhile, Valnariel is excellent at the start of the run at managing hate on all 3 of those enemies, buying you time to take them out efficiently, but normally dies to the first bad breath when taking on Jody, making it so you'll need to finish the fight taking her out yourself at the end. Now as previously mentioned, you can also just tank this yourself and try to rely on both damage mitigation to survive and things like Stone Skin and Megawari. Now normally it does only hit for the high thousands in damage, so as long as you have more health than that, then you normally should be able to survive this if tanking, and then your trust will just immediately cure you. Now both Julika and Vivian don't have any damage reduction on them, so I recommend just opening the fight with a 5-step Radiant Skill Chain and Dual Magic Burst, as you see me doing here, to kill each in under 30 seconds. Now if you don't have access to a 5-step skill chain, then you can also just use 2-step skill chains to take them out, but it's going to take a bit of extra time to take each of them out of doing so. Now once you get to Jody, you will notice that she has high physical defense, but takes solid magic damage, so when taking her on, I recommend 2-step light skill chains, followed by dual magic burst. Trust, such as Shantoto 2, will add in 2 additional magic burst per skill chain, so be sure to use them in your party to speed this last enemy's kill along. Now with the remaining trust, you want to do things like cap your haste and make sure you have enough healing for when those high damage bad breaths go off, and this should actually be a pretty easy month. Now wins should take most well-geared players in the 2 to 3 minute range, and returning players should expect it to take closer to 5 to 7 minutes depending on the amount of magic damage that you can do. Now returning players especially should remember to use Shantoto 2 in their setup, as it will speed along the kill of Jody dramatically if you're unable to magic burst or do any other form of magic damage yourself. Now you just saw my ninja take on the very difficult difficulty and finish the fight in about 2 minutes using the 5-step Radiant Skill Chain method I referred to earlier. Currently, I'm showing my Red Mage taking on the same difficulty but using 2-step skill chains and spell damage and Shantoto 2 to speed along the fight. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of the run, and we'll see you next month. Have a great month all.